Now, ahead of the incoming harvest, South African wine producers are still stuck with a surplus stock, and wait for it, anywhere between 280 million and 300 million litres of wine. That is a lot of wine. In fact, it's the equivalent of total wine sales in the country in the past 5 years. So what impact is this going to have on the industry? I'm joined now by Maluta Netshaulu, who is a Senior Manager Agriculture at Nedbank. Maluta, good afternoon to you and welcome. Is this surplus purely as a result of the lockdown, or are there other factors at play?
Thank you, Jeremy, and good afternoon to your viewers. Jeremy, the wine stock is as a result of the impact of COVID, the national lockdowns that were implemented by government. But there's also some stock that were coming from the previous seasons, 2019 and the previous year.
What impact is this having on the industry then?
Yeah, it's having quite a huge impact because having so much stock, which if things were going according to plan, that's what was going to translate into money in the pockets of our farmers. But now having that stock at the sellers, at the wine producers, it's not good for the sector in terms of its performance and in terms of job security. As you know, the wine sector is doing is in quite a big problem at the moment in terms of its performance. But in terms of production, they seem to be doing quite well under the circumstances.
So this couldn't come at a worse time, because Business Insider is reporting today that 80 wineries and as many as 350 growing groups could exit the industry in the next 18 months if nothing changes. Yeah,
that is the big concern. As you know, the commercial farmers, I think overall, it's about 28,000. So if we're going to be losing these farmers, especially in the wine sector, it's a big concern, especially given that it is a high, I think, employer in the country, agriculture, and the government is also looking to agriculture as a source of employment, and they're having plans around agriculture in order to absorb all these unemployed people.
And we cannot rely on demand from overseas markets to pick up the slack, can we?
Well, it's a bit of a concern because as you might have seen in the news, Australia also has its issues with China, So us, we've got our own markets in the international arena. And we sort of, during the lockdown, we sort of were struggling to keep that shelf space because we couldn't supply to those markets that we've been trading with for so long. So now, I think when the ban was lifted, then at least our exports were sort of bounced back. But we do have a lot of work to do in order to get back to the levels where we were.
So it's going to take some creative thinking as far as the industry is concerned to recover and sustain. I also read that a larger portion then of the white grape harvest is going to go to fruit juice manufacturers. So next year, possibly, we'll see a lot more fruit juice on the shelves.
Yeah, I think so. Perhaps even at lower prices. I think with white wine, the issue there is that it is a very short shelf life, so you cannot keep it for too long. So it needs to go out as quickly as possible into the market. And having so much surplus stock, it does cause a huge impact into the whole supply chain of the sector, which is why now they need to find innovative ways. And you might have also seen they are also coming with innovative ways in such a way that they are packing wine into cans, There's a whole thing going around in terms of to create new markets. Then you need to put it in a can. Then instead of opening the whole bottle, then you just open a can, like a can of a soft drink.
And while one has sympathy for the wine industry, it's not bad news for consumers, for lovers of wine, because obviously there's a pressure on price. Prices will come down, I assume.
Yeah, I think it's basic economics in terms of when the supply is very high, the prices will sort of reduce until they start a level or state of equilibrium where the demand and supply sort of meet each other in the middle. So yes, prices are expected to come down, but I think it also depends in terms of how the global economy opens up. If we see more and more of the economy, China and Europe opening up, then we might be able to, I think, to release or most of this stock, and then things hopefully will get back to normal.
All right. Well, thanks for filling us in on what is obviously a huge problem for the wine industry. Maluta Netshaulu from Nedbank, appreciate you joining us today.